I would shoot him. I don't want to go out on a suicide, like, to take an enemy ship, listening to jazz music. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with some more Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt. Before we get into anything else, though, I guess I want to do a little correction. I don't know if I said this in the last recording or not. I know I definitely thought it. For some reason, I believed that Thunderbolt was only 6 episodes long. I know it's 8 episodes. I have them all on my computer. But for some reason, I may have said something last recording about doing all of the last episodes this day or not. I don't remember. Again, I definitely thought it when I was staring at the schedule. The schedule that we do our recordings off of. And no, we're recording 3 back-to-back today, which is only going to put us at 6, so we are going to be 1 off. Or 2 off, sorry, from the end. So we're going to get one more thoughts section from us before we get to the finality. Anyway, we come back with notes and a board, so obviously let's start off with the board. And with the board comes the board changelog. I added Io's dad. I connected him to Io with a blue line, and then marked him as dead. I added Daryl's dad, mom, and sister, and connected them to Daryl with a blue line. I marked Sean as dead. I added Carla's father, marked him as imprisoned, which is like, I think, the only second time I've done that on the entire Gundam board. Tied him with a blue line to Carla. I connected Cornelius to Claudia with a green line. I marked Leighton as dead. I changed the green line between Graham and Claudia to red, then marked them both as dead. And then I put a question mark on Sexton.
I think he's pretty much dead.
I've got a note. I guess that's all I really have to say. Sorry. I was going to elaborate, but I should elaborate in the note. Because I spent more than 10 minutes about trying to figure that out. No, not all of them. I also have a note.
No, I know. But a lot of them did.
I have a lot of notes. In fact, you have more than me, though. So I guess let's go ahead and just jump into that. Do you have any notes about the board, rather?
No, really.
Or commentary, I should say.
No. Let me see. Yeah. Well, you have Myers dead. I might have skipped Myers' death in the, moving forward, skipping it. But because I was making my notes last minute because, that's how much of a professional I am. So I may have missed Myers, Keith Myers' death. Not saying that you're wrong. I just don't remember.
I anticipate, Lessons, that even if I am wrong, I won't be.
Oh, well. Yeah.
Time will prove me right. My past mistakes will come to fruition.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, man. I suspect we're not going to get a lot of survivors on this board. Anyway, as I was saying before I segued us back to the board, you have the most notes, so you should go first. Yeah. As I already covered, though, this is also something that's not going to be done anymore. We're getting rid of that rule from now on. Lessons is just going to go first all the time.
Yeah. Which is ironic because these episodes do not have titles. But we're going to be covering episode 2 and 3. Let's start with episode 2. Actually, let's start with a note that I added, which is something I wanted to remember last time. I said there's a German proverb that kind of fits the situation. And I'm going to read the German proverb first. A great war leaves the country with 3 armies, an army of cripples, an army of mourners, and an army of thieves. Which I think it's sort of the running theme of, well, a lot of Gundam post-wars, but particularly of Thunderbolt.
Yeah. I mean, I remember very specifically we were talking about the economy of Xenon post-war, and I alluded to that very famous picture of the person pulling a cart behind them filled with money to buy a loaf of bread. The idea that Xenon's not well for it anymore. Sorry, it's a good quote, or it's a good proverb. It's just when you started it off, and I was like, yes, and let's begin our reaction with our daily prayer as we typically do. It's like, just what it felt like when you were leading into it. As we begin our daily affirmations.
So on to episode 2. Interesting the flashbacks we get from both protagonists. Fleming's is of the battle that destroyed his home and took the life of his father, while the other is of Lawrence, remembering how he lost his limbs as well as his vacationing as a child on Earth. Or perhaps he lived on Earth and his family sympathized with Sion. Not very clear. Each highlights loss, both physical, personal, and emotional.
Yeah. Sorry, there's no deeper thoughts. I think you nailed it, so... No, I think I have another thought about that later, but it doesn't add anything. Sorry, you've started off with a German proverb, and then you went into a analysis of the different points of view that we get from the two different characters, and my first note's pretty damn stupid. If there was ever a sector to put a sci-fi cowcatcher on a ship, I think Thunderbolt would be it. Plow right through the debris rather than getting plastered with it. Because every time I see them flying through, and then every time we've seen the mobile suits and everything, I think back to Star Wars, when they go into the asteroid belt, and you just like the one guy on the hollow. Just...
Yeah. I think we both commented on this. Like we see one of the battleships, and they go like Salamis class battleship, and I was like, yeah, that thing should be full of holes with all the debris and it's fighting and all that. So, but hey, visual rules for combat, I guess. Following up on my second note, particularly for Lawrence, how the Ryu's psychosystem allowed him to live his past mobility and recapture the essence of what he lost, especially a sense of both freedom and usefulness through the connection with the zaku.
Well, I mean, he's very clearly got some element of PTSD mixed with... Sorry, I'm not a psychology major. I don't know. He's got different things working against him the entire way. When he's remembering the past and losing himself, essentially, to better times. Like, I don't know if there's nostalgia as psychological issue, but...
I mean, he is trying to find shelter in those memories where he was physically complete, but also hadn't gone through the traumas of war, right? Because he started very interesting, he doesn't start as a mobile suit pilot, he was an infantryman. That's how he gets injured, and then gets reassigned to be a zaku pilot. So, and it's also framed as a sort of return. Like, we see the images. I mean, these images could be from the colony, and it's just the lights of the sky are blurred, right, and the darkness, or the light of the
heavily
sun.
Overcast. It's like a Verdun. If you're watching a war movie from Verdun or something, I'm not talking about the time when he's running. Dark skies.
I'm talking about the times when we see him on the beach, and also later on a Christmas
I'm pretty sure that's
right.
So I agreed with you back when you were watching the reaction. Is that even every other shot we've ever seen of a colony or something, where they've been at a beach or something like that, you could still see the curve of the wall. You would still be seeing something.
Yeah, and the lights in the sky.
Or I guess the curve of the floor, because it's not technical. It's a wall and a floor.
Yeah. So in many ways, him parachuting to Earth is almost like a return, and that's when you see the burst on the ground, and he seems to be wounded. So him parachuting into the ground seems like a sort of return, and then we see the Earth erupt, and that's apparently when he got wounded, that he lost his legs, from an artillery shell.
I mean, I would lean into it, but it doesn't seem like it's a there doesn't seem like there's any value to the analysis. He doesn't spend that much time thinking about his vacation with his family to Earth, and there's not a lot of weight given to, like, we spend more time dealing with his duoplegia than we do him thinking about how he got it. The one flash, and that's it. So there doesn't seem to be a lot of weight put on what his thoughts about Earth are. So I don't know that there's a lot of value in the analysis of it based on 10 seconds of scene.
Well, to me, in a way, is that in peace he could go back and forth. Apparently, he might maybe from his father's seen as an admiral,
Let's
so
just
he
say,
probably was like,
he's not. I've got a note about that too. I was wrong when I called him an admiral. I would argue that the more analysis you would want to put on is his relationship to his father vis-a-vis the Christmas scene. Again,
yeah,
another 10-second thing, but I think there's a lot more value into that because it also weighs into his recent limb loss. Not the one that was forced upon him, but the one put upon him by combat.
well, on to your next note then.
I spent a stupidly long time trying to figure out the song that starts episode 2, the song Io's dad loved. I think I was thrown by the inclusion of 50s and 60s Americana on the Xeon side last episode. The song is called Fan of the Hay by Sakamoto Yoshi. I think I started trying to figure it out at first, hoping it would have some sort of deeper meaning or just identify that it was keeping in line with other in-universe songs that we've heard so far. Anyways, the only interesting thing about this endeavor that I have to report is that the song was recorded specifically for Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt, which makes me want to sarcastically believe that Io's dad was a fan of the Thunderbolt soundtrack. Well, given that the
Very
other two
cursive.
songs have been real songs, so you start off by saying, "Oh, these are all real songs from the universe," right?
Mm-hmm.
That the
Yeah.
implication that this song only exists on the Thunderbolt soundtrack. So if all the other songs are real, then Io's dad enjoyed Thunderbolt, where he saw his son get out. And it actually would fit that Gundam would exist in media before. Not the whole Gundam existing in media part, but
Mm-hmm.
Io's dad loved his fucking son. We know that. So that he would watch Thunderbolt because his son was in it.
That's a bit meta for me, but sure.
That's why I say it. I wrote it as a joke. I spent so long trying to figure out, like, I should have just, like, gone to the soundtrack listing and everything. But I was like, I can't fucking understand what she's saying. To the point where I did a sound removal on the video to try and pick it out and just not make any more sense when only you can hear is her. And then I went through a bunch of videos where I'm like, what song is this? The lyrics don't really mean that much. Like, it's a coherent song when you read the lyrics, but it doesn't mean anything to anything. So my joke is, just that Thunderbolt exists in universe.
Anyway, to my next point. That lightning bolt served as a literal plot armor for Fleming. Can't kill him now. We have a couple of episodes left.
It's dumb. I hate it. In the opening of episode 2, I paused a lot on the shots of the fighting piercing through the inside of the Banchai. And something I noticed is that despite all of the mundane junk floating around in the debris, there is a distinct lack of corpses anywhere. Also of interest, the bubblegum goop that seals up holes that we saw way back in OG Gundam is still operational in the destroyed colony. Not that it much matters, given that the fighting just bursts through it.
And also, one of the shots is literally a shot-for-shot recreation of the intro to the original series. When we're seeing the colony and then the bird is flying and then a shot pierces a colony, right?
I mean, I would argue that. Again,
It's even
I
the
just
same
told you
angle.
that I watched it multiple times. I was trying to spot, there's gotta be a dead fucking body in here somewhere. Because the argument there would be that they cleaned out all the corpses, and it's like, how would you get that done? Xeon's not gonna let you do it. Xeon will shoot you trying to do it. So, I was like, I mean, maybe it's like a tiny one. No, didn't spot a dead body anywhere. I think maybe I was in my Apocalypse Hotel head, where I kept mentioning that during Apocalypse Hotel. It's been 1,000 years. People are dying of sickness. Not a skeleton to be seen. So, I was looking for it. And very specifically, you and I both watched all of OG Gundam, the opening, every time. I would have recognized a bridge over space as per that shot. Didn't see one here. So, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I didn't see it.
Yeah. Also, how quickly the tables turn. In the episode, in the first episode, the Sion soldiers were pretty confident, blasting away the Brotherhood machines with ease. But now that the Gundam has evened the odds and has the power of space lightning to boot, they are panicking.
It's not that. They don't have as much as the Federation side does. I got a note about this later, but the top guy, like the best sniper they've got, is relegated down to a Zaku 1. They don't have anything left. They're panicking because they're out of stuff.
Yeah,
and
but also
apparently they're also not getting
like,
any new supplies and have been ordered to fight to the death. That's panic shit right there. You know, we're on the last line. I've got 5 bullets. You know, well, 4. Let's say I've got 4 bullets and ignore that last one for a minute.
Well, yeah, 4 for the enemy, 1 for yourself.
Yeah.
But also I'm contradicting
I know what we did.
Yeah. In the beginning, it was like, oh, yeah, these guys were just blasting him away. But even when the guy got shot in the head, they were more pissed than anything else. But now they're like, oh, shit, what,
you're standing on the gallows joking with your buddies. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
They know they're fucked. They knew they were fucked from the beginning. Now they're just even more fucked.
To your next point.
I don't think anyone in Zeon is on a front line somewhere thinking, yeah, I think we got this.
Not at this point.
It'll all turn around tomorrow. Say what you will about Io's dad, he clearly loved his son. 6 pictures on his desk, all of them of Io at various stages of his life. Only 3 have dad himself in them, 2 have his wife. It's all mainly Io. One thing we can see is that he was a pilot at one point, and he brought Io along with him on a flight. Maybe even inspired him to become what he is now.
Yeah, I have more about the air races later on as well, but yeah.
Well, I wrote this when I was specifically paused on the 6 picture thing. I didn't even think about the fact that we had the air races later, because there's one just specifically of Io wearing a pilot's a pilot's suit, and holding a helmet with his dad.
Yeah.
God, I want to say he must be preteen? Well, preteen to teen, not his dad, Io, because I'm thinking about the size differences between.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, it may have inspired him to become what he is. Which, not for nothing, I know you're about to go on, but might be the connection, really, between Daryl and Io. Daryl's remembering his time with his dad. Granted, Io's memory of his dad is of the suicide, but still on the desk, all the pictures of him, clearly implying that both father and son duos loved each other.
I'm a little headcanon. It might be that Io was the one who delivered the news to his father. Like, yeah, we're going to lose the colony. He's like, oh, shit. Okay, give me a moment.
Oh, no. I mean, sorry, that's not an oh, no to the revelation of what you're saying. I think it's more that Io found his dad that way.
Either way, not good for him. Talking about Io Fleming using a human chill was a war crime, to be sure, but it also makes sense in this case. I don't condone it, but I understand why he did it.
It's funny because I've got a future note about Io committing another war crime. So
yeah,
obviously it's also the one that you rallied for. So
yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, this is the 1-year war. Should be called the War Crime War. I think I'm going to stop looking at the radio screen for information. It's now set to 100 megahertz for the opening song, but it's still set on preset 4, which was a different frequency last time. And not for nothing, it's in scan mode, which really isn't a preset. Also, we've expressed how short range the transmissions should be, but both Io and Daryl are listening to the same station in the same episode. We know Io has Cornelius record the transmissions for him to play later, so it's possible that's what's happening. But that would also imply that wherever the signal is coming from, it's drifting around the Thunderbolt sector, back and forth between both sides. I guess it's not impossible that since Side 1 and Side 4 orbited the Lagrange point, it's not that the radio station is orbiting them, but their rotation brings them closer to Solomon or the moon and being able to pick up transmissions from there.
Makes sense.
Solomon is off to one side of the Lagrange point, and the moon is obviously close by too. So they could just be rotating around. Oh, getting some transmissions. Ah, fuck. I hope we recorded it. I picked up some more transmissions.
Also, although this could be the Xeon, Fleming's radio looks more like an iPod, so apparently he probably can record or keep, MP3 files or the equivalent.
Well, no,
in the
it's what
future.
Cornelius does for him.
Yeah. So he probably downloads, and the other one looks more like a transistor radar, although it could be a advanced radio in the body of a transistor.
No, that's probably what
right?
it is. It didn't seem like he was buying it from like a toy store.
Yeah.
So it's probably just it's probably just some
kids transistor. The kid's first radio, basically.
Yeah, you're not going to buy him an antique radio at a kid's store. It's going to be a cheap radio of still modern variety housed in what looks to be old school Americana. Not for nothing. That is, oh God, I had it in my head. I can see it.
Motif, theme, idea.
No, the cartoon movie with the toaster.
Oh yeah, it looks very much like the radio that went with them. Yeah,
Brave Little Toaster.
With the big nose. Brave Little Toaster. Yeah,
I couldn't get the name of it in my head. It's like,
yeah, that movie, man, that movie.
Worthless.
It's a classic. Yeah, I think basically Toy Story. It's kind of a retelling of it, especially the third one when he goes and picks up the toys to go to college.
I mean, I would argue that Brave Little Toaster is more adult than Toy Story.
True. But still, I watched it as a kid, and I was like, damn.
I got my kids on Route 66. Yeah, I listen to Worthless all the fucking time.
That speech with the air conditioner is like, I'm all alone here, so you will be. I was like, ah.
It's a good movie. Recommend.
It is. Mm-hmm. Next one. Yeah, the head Xeon scientist is a coward, Sexton. But ordering your scientist to die a needless death that accomplishes nothing is also very stupid.
I mean, I would argue that they're warm bodies on the front.
They're not even fight. I mean, yeah, one of them eventually goes and fights, but
yeah, she literally mans an anti-aircraft gun or anti-ship gun, whatever.
Yeah,
and Sexton could have done the same. Arguably, their indication, the woman and the one pod next to her that gets killed, is that they all went to the same training. So essentially,
but basically, probably basic militia training, basic military training, right? It's like, I don't know how to fire a gun. Do the same thing here. It's just, lead your targets, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
very basic.
Get on the boarding pod, grab a gun, head over there. Your job is country first, your actual profession second. And the war is about to be lost. So,
for your country, that research would still be important and useful, especially for the aftermath of the war.
No, that's really what we covered in Igloo. At this point, all of your research amounts to whatever we can throw out there right now. Because it doesn't matter. That research doesn't matter tomorrow if we can't do anything with it. And let's be fair, we're not building anything new anymore. We are literally throwing bricks out the door.
Yeah.
Again, that's what Igloo is, the lead up to this entire discussion. The scientists and the engineers are now fucking worthless unless you can get out there and get one of those zakus working again.
Yeah, but you can always even think that even if you win on or lose, you will still want to rebuild your country. And somebody who's an expert in cybernetics, for all the people who have suffered from this war, would be an important resource.
Totally understand, but we're not there anymore. At this point, it's not can we rebuild after, it's can we survive. And not tomorrow, now. You're going to have to, throw your guts into the machine and hope that you can live for tomorrow, because you cannot pre-plan any of that. Speaking of which, hope those Xeon metals are made of some valuable metal, because because I feel like you're going to be pawning it off for food in a month or so. Well, maybe not Carl or Daryl. Doubt they'll survive December. Also, obvious correction, they weren't the Xeon Cross. that was just conversation overlap in my head from episode 1's conversation, but are in fact the Xeon Science Medal.
Yeah, because they mentioned both supporting the troops and the scientists. Like, also our scientists
Well,
are getting rewarded.
the implication is actually Daryl and Carla and Sexton all got the same medal.
Yeah.
Because, he is actually a test subject in it, so he gets awarded along with everybody else.
Now, even though that's what we were talking about Sexton, I'm going to have to call Sexton out on this note. Sexton, you asshole. You don't want to cut off a soldier's survival limb for the glory of your nation or the ideal of independence. You want to do it because you're afraid of dying for those very same ideals, you fuck with.
Here's the thing. I know why you hate him, and in most cases, I dislike him in the same way, but I can see what he's up to. Like, 1, he doesn't want to die. Who wants to die? 2, if he's gonna die, might as well see his research used for something, right? 3, everything that you're saying about the research being useful and everything afterwards, what he's trying to do, and he's not like, it's just me. Like, we do see him, like, the thing I hate him most for is throws the injured guy. I'm getting this escape pod. That's the dick move right there. But he does, like, try to bring Carla with him. He's not all for himself. He's trying to bring his fellow scientists along. I mean, I said it before. If Sean had survived, Sean would have been the candidate of choice. Sean already was missing both arms, and you're in space, 0G, you didn't really need your legs. Cutting off losing his legs there, I mean, not great. Granted, he probably wants to do stuff back on Munzo afterwards, but
yeah,
if anyone's going to survive anything, I think the guy with one hand only probably really wants that one hand, whereas Sean don't got the hands anyway, and legs aren't really as important as hands.
Well, it's not.
I think we've all had that long thought about if I had to lose a limb, which limb would it be?
Yeah, probably one leg or two, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably
feed myself and wipe myself and bathe myself.
Yeah, I don't want to be one. I'm not making any judgment calls about anybody. I just don't want to be one of those people that has to learn to use their feet as hands.
Yeah. And drive and everything else, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a bunch of things. I've had the conversation about the vocal cords thing. I've often thought, like, what's the sense or thing, or, head organs, right? Would you rather lose your hearing, vision, sense of smell, taste, ability to talk? Life would suck if you couldn't see. Modern world, especially somebody who wasn't blind from birth, somebody who has had experience with computers and everything, and now can't see anything.
To your next point, I guess.
So considering the age differences between the beach scene and the fight scene where Daryl loses his legs, it seems like his family vacationed on Earth something like 10-ish years before the war. That would put that flashback or memory inside the time space of the start of Origin, if we wanted to imagine that was what Daryl was doing when Caecilia was threatening Casval at the Rawl estate.
Yeah. I mean, it's also, again, very interesting because I do feel that his family, and this is also a comparison, although we see him more of as a common soldier, and he certainly gets treated as a common soldier. Nobody brings up his lineage or anything like that. Oh, your father is a officer in Xeon, whatever. That his family is very much well off. Not as well off, perhaps, as the Flemings, right, and the people associated with him, but,
I don't know that we got anything that would say that he's well off, I guess, beyond getting they're not even high-quality prosthetics, because Carla goes off, but you get better than this. So he's got low-quality prosthetics. And it doesn't seem like it takes much to vacation anywhere. Like, remember when Sayla, at the very end of Origin, is talking to the thugs on the transport? They didn't look high class living. They look like punk rockers. So it apparently doesn't take that much. Hell, when a couple of sorry, I make a G-Quox joke.
Yeah. Well, to my next note then. And this is about Lawrence. You can see that Lawrence was scared and in a fatal position when the captain asked him to give up his remaining limb. He ordered him to. solemnly with, putting his cap on his chest and like, yeah, I'm going to have to ask you to lose your last limb. But clearly he didn't. I say that note because there's another note that I contrast that with that happens later. But yeah, at that moment,
my
he was
initial
just
thought
terrified.
was when he goes, "I'm sorry, I can't salute you," and then the captain salutes with, the prosthetic hand.
The hook, yeah.
But then again, he says that because he's plugged into the machine, not because he doesn't have a hand. He's not like, have sympathy for me, and he's like, sympathy this, claw. Well, because I was thinking about, I made the joke about you don't want to be clawing yourself in the eye or some shit. And it's like, oh, I'm making light of an actual pretty deep scene. It's like...
Now, when you say claw, it reminds me of Dr. J from Wing, like...
Oh, I thought you were going to say, liar, liar.
I haven't watched that movie in years.
Well, of claws that I think of, it probably goes Inspector Gadget, liar, liar. Dr. J's never going to be on the list.
Okay.
Well, for one thing, it's not a claw, it's a grabber. He's got a grabber for a hand.
Yeah. And, well, the captain has a hook, like literally like a bilge hook kind of thing, Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But I would go Peter Pan before I went to this guy, because I only just met this guy last week. Or I met him 2 weeks ago.
Anyway, to your next point.
I believe I said Daryl's father was an admiral before. That was wrong. He is in a confusing state of the uniforms not always fitting into the general rule of rank. My best guess is that he is actually a Commodore, as the 3 stripes on his chest with the downward flare at the bottom, alongside lack of collar tabs, would imply that in my mind.
I didn't focus too much on him, but then again, I didn't slow down though.
The emblem on the front of the chest is usually the best way to tell rank, but sometimes people don't wear the... I brought this up in Requiem for Vengeance when... Oh god, what's his name? The guy who also comes from 8th Emma's team.
Oh yeah, the general.
You mean the admiral?
Yeah, with the admiral. Yeah, with a pop.
They called him general in Requiem for Vengeance, but he's actually an admiral.
He's an admiral,
as we confirmed later. Yeah, the fact that he has a 4-stripe pin on the collar, and that just doesn't exist. That's not real. Which is why I was like, oh, maybe he's a special high rank of... Could be anything he wants to be. So sometimes these things don't... they just don't work right if they're not following like what seems to be the general rule. So typically, you just try to look at the chest part and figure out what that emblem is closest thing to. A Commodore should be the 3 wings, which he has, but also it should have a like a V sort of kind of thing that comes down off of it. And he kind of lacks that, but you could also see that maybe the thing at the very bottom could be an interpretation of that. And there is no color emblem for a Commodore, at least not one that I know of. So the fact that he has the 3 wings, sort of a thing down there, and sort of a thing down there. I'm talking about Dan to Dan. The guy has no dick. And no collar pips would make me think Commodore at the highest, Staff Sergeant at the lowest, because Staff Sergeants also kind of have that 3 thing, but they have no downward V. And I'm thinking you can interpret the emblem as a downward V. So I'm thinking he's probably a Commodore if you want to believe that they're someone of privilege. Otherwise, he could be a Staff Sergeant.
Yeah. Well, to my next point then. Well, that could be the contrast that he is that very much a commoner, right? And maybe those vacations, if they're not that expensive, that they're just vacations, right? Whatever he was working on,
could just be middle class,
money to get his family. Yeah,
or high lower class, because
Yeah, I do feel for Dr. Mitchum. You can see that she's also enduring her own descent to madness with each act she's forced to do to these soldiers, because she's the one that has to cut into them, right? The other one is like, oh, I have I'm testing and all that, but she's the one who has to open them up. And also, she fell in love with that one guy who got his brains blown out. So, yeah,
Hoover, the new type. It's also a segue, because my next type after I'm done with the women I like now. My next, I think they were implying that Daryl is a new type. I know we had a conversation about how they were chalking up Hoover to be one, but the guy Daryl was talking to in episode 1 and now in episode 2 as well was asking about sensitives seeing ghosts in the battlefield, and he seemed relieved when Daryl said that he couldn't see any. Also, even Io suggests Daryl can predict his movements, which is an Amuro level new type stuff.
It could be. I won't say more because I really wasn't paying attention to that particular aspect, but yeah, I'm not. Again, I don't have enough to go like, well, that's not like.
I think, again, it's two elements that go together that would suggest to me, also, again, not for nothing, Leighton saying sensitives instead of new type.
I wrote this. Now that I read this note, it doesn't make sense. So I have to refer back to the fact that
past you may have known what you were talking about, and present you doesn't.
Yeah. How Lauren was scared, and now this companion note compared to how he is, how elated he is when he hooked up to the Zaku moments later. Oh, moments in the narrative. Clearly takes more time for him to be loaded up and hooked up. He's like he got teleported into the Zaku. It's like, it happens very quickly in the narrative, but clearly doesn't, he just didn't just appear from the tube and into, okay, I'm in, right? But, there's that contrast. Like now he regained a sense of purpose and, well, literal mobility because he's flying off. Although he seems also
what episode are you
trapped
in?
into the cockpit. Episode 2.
And this is episode 2. He's only in the testing chamber. Episode 3 is when he launches.
No, it's in episode 2. I have my episode 3 notes.
Here's the thing. Instead of getting into a discussion about that, I don't know what the point of your note is my thing.
Well, I would say that he was very
out
scared.
That he gets happier when he's in the cockpit? Because I think you did that already with your other note.
No, because yes, there's a testing chamber, but this is comparing to what happened when he was in the tube and he gets approaching. You see him like this, like he's grabbing his stump, like, and also he was, he started screaming before when he realized he lost his left hand. But then when he gets hooked up, it's like, oh yeah, and the whole thing, I won't, he's flying around like, yeah, this is great, like I can do it, right? There's
it's
a sort of roller coaster of emotion.
It's self-delusion. We get that. We get that later in the, I would say, officer's mess. It's like a cafeteria. When he's like, it's even better, right? I don't even need that. It's even better than I was before. Yeah. So he's self-delusional.
We still crybabies, and everybody's like, oh, I mean, we're trying to, be sensible to your feelings. Like, don't worry about it.
But I'm saying it's okay. He's delusional about it because he's trying to make it better. Will it into being. Manifest. I think it's what they call it now. Manifest. That's how the kids are calling it. He's manifesting.
Which kind of shows that his companions are not. I mean, all of them have some lost.
They're all living dead. Here's the thing. We call it Living Dead Division, but I paused on a scene where his dog tags are there, and it actually says living. So I can't remember the full abbreviation, but it's LD BAT, which I guess implies battalion.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Living Dead Battalion, not Division.
We think with the translation. To your next note, then.
I know Zeon is the enemy and aggressor here, but I gotta point out again that Io isn't calling out Daryl for anything he's doing, the cause he's supporting, or even the people he's killed. He's calling out how he's a paraplegic and how limited his life must be because of it. It's like Thunderbolt wants to humanize the villains, as so many of the Gundam stories are wont to do, and make the Federation guys look like assholes.
Yeah.
Because it's not like if I was like, you asshole, you made my dad kill himself, or you fuckers, look what you did to the colony, or, any of that shit. But he's not, haha, you got no legs, you legless jackass. It's like, that's not cool, man.
No, it isn't. I mean, he's being a fucking troll, basically, and a bully. Well, I guess a bully in war when both sides can kill each other.
If you're in the Gundam and you're calling out shit, you got no legs, I'm in a Gundam. Yeah, you're the asshole. That's what I'm saying. Io is a fucking asshole. It would be different. It would be different if he was like, you killed my friends, or, anything legitimate. But you're literally calling out a guy for his disabilities. You blind motherfucker! Like, what the hell are you doing, Aya? And all we're doing is like, oh, you remember that time where Daryl reached out for his dad's hand because they spent like a happy moment together on Christmas and he lost his hand? Haha, you lost your fucking hand. It's like, Io, come on, man. The dude just painted to be a jackass.
My final note on episode 12, 2. And the chosen music from Western to classic and the chaotic jazz beats in the middle of battle. The music design and use is top notch.
To you. I do not like, even I do like 50s and 60s Americana, but it's not enough. And I would say not a massive fan of Japanese sung Americana. Like I said, I had to go through so much work to figure out what she was saying. But again, I do not like jazz. I already pointed this out with like my episode 2 note. Thunderbolt, much like jazz, is a total mess. And by the time I'm at the sector, Thunderbolt sector, much like the jazz that's being played in it, is a total fucking mess. And not for nothing, it's not even, I don't know how to phrase this, I'm going to say true jazz. It's not like the normal jazz you might hear. It is freestyle jazz, which is the worst. You know, I would say I'm not a big fan of gospel music. I'm even not a fan of bluegrass gospel. So this is a tier down of something I didn't already like.
I mean, thematically, I think it fits, but if you don't like the music,
I already said they should have done Stomp, because that would have worked for me. You know? Because, you know, make the sound of the people doing the stomp and banging shit together. Also diegetic, with the sound of stuff in the sector, you know, exploding, bouncing off of one another. You could do Battlefield Stomp. That would be fucking amazing. Yeah. And it would really work for all of this.
I will listen to it, yeah.
I've linked you that joke video before. You know, what Thunderbolt will sound like to somebody who doesn't like jazz, and it's just a cacophony of sound. Which, to be fair, is what it sounds like to me. There's no, like, even with, like, Macross Plus, the soundtrack I did not like, I recognize that was at least something. Like, it just wasn't a thing that I liked, but it was something, whereas freestyle jazz is just a noise followed by an indeterminable amount of silence, and then some other noise, and then another noise. I don't know who decided what music is.
Your next note, then.
You know, the doctor from 8th MS Team and the professor from Thunderbolt are really the only ones left audibly clinging to the reasons Zeon claimed to have started the war in the first place. I mean, Sexton here is just saying it because he realized he was ordered to die and hold the sector. But it's funny that they gave these lines to the academics every time.
Yeah. Which contracts is something they did with 2 characters that I'm going to talk in my first note with episode 3. But yeah, interesting indeed. I mean, they just did, right?
I'm saying it's just a contrast. It's a contrast thing because nobody else talks about the Zeon war for liberation except for the academics, who are also on the front line of the war.
Oh yeah, this is the note. Episode 3. The captain's drug use mirrors the doctor's anguish in the previous episode. Both are highly empathic, which means they feel deeply the effects of their actions and the consequences therein. Something war choose up. Choose up. And dispassionately spits out back at them.
Yeah, if you're getting yelled at, you get shoot up. Not shoot out. When you're getting yelled at, you get shoot out. If something is eating you and it's spitting you out, you get shoot up.
Shoot up, yeah. Why did I use that word? I mean, and it's also interesting that they're the 2 main female characters. They're the ones who are positioned in a situation where, and then both of them at the end, they're like, they switch that off, like, oh, I gotta fight, and they fight.
Well, I mean, arguably, it's not that they're, it's not that they're both female characters. I think that's the wrong thing to focus on. I think it's the element of they're both essentially caregivers. Carla is the one taking care of the prosthetics of all the soldiers, whereas Claudia is essentially the person in charge of everybody. They're both
but usually
caregivers to their people.
Caregiving is something that usually associated also with women, but as the caregivers.
Again, I would argue
not
that
exclusively.
I would argue that it's so non-exclusively that there's no point pointing it out. It's looking backwards historically to point out that historically women were caregivers. Well, that's only because we keep repeating the line. Stop repeating it, and nobody would think about it. A lot more stay-at-home dads these days than there are stay-at-home moms. Or at least more than there used to be. My point is, though, I think it's the position of caregiver that is their actual connection. Because just being a woman, like, what is that? They both wear bras, and that's what makes them unique. It's like, no. I think it's the point is that she takes care of the crew, which gives her a deeper connection to the crew that she takes care of. And when I say that, I literally mean both of them. Claudia is going into this depression spiral because everybody she takes care of is now dying, and she's the one directly ordering them to their deaths. Carla is the one who looks after all of these injured people. And, I don't think you can do that without getting close to them. She literally falls in love with one of them. And then, she has to be forced to then perform this abhorrent thing to one of the people she's taking care of, and that pushes her over the edge.
Next note, then.
This is just a nothing note. So the Moore Brotherhood is not only funding this operation, they are actively giving orders as well, as per the call to begin the all-out assault to retake the Thunderbolt sector.
And to that, I might think my next note. When the men die, the boys come out to finish their job. The very people you swore to protect are now the cannon fodder you need to win. As per Igloo, and the fact that here it's a bunch of little kids. They're not more than 15. They're almost all of them kind of look prepubescent or just,
Well, not for nothing. There's a bunch of girls in there too.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm on some sort of feminist crusade now. I'm not. It's just like your Boys to Men thing, and I was trying to think of a Boys to Men song, but well, no, because there's that long-haired blonde girl that's sitting off to the side of one of the shots.
Among the pilots as well, and among the crew, there are other women as well, so it's not exclusively men.
Yeah, but I mean, on the young kids that got shuttled up there, there's a bunch of women amongst them.
Yeah, and Igloo was the same thing. The majority were boys, but there were some girls as well.
I only remember Cadillac's younger brother in the Hitler Youth uniform. So it's going to be 4 gun cannons, 20 GM cannons, and 12 balls, plus the Gundam. And when we see Daryl looking at his radar later, 36 blips, so it checks out. Zeon's got the reused Psycho Zaku, and I guess whatever else is left. We know it was so bad that before Daryl got put into the Psycho Zaku, all they could give him was a Zaku 1. In the hangar, I only saw the Psycho Zaku, the Zaku 2, and a Dom. And, later on in the fight, all we see is the Dom and the Zaku 2, which might imply that is all they had left, as per my previous retort to them freaking out bit, that they've got nothing left. And, as we learned in Origin, you don't want to be the guys in the mobile suit fight who only have ships. It does not work.
I note about the air races. The memory of the air races is particular in 2 ways. Io's fighter is a replica of the P-51D, an American Allied fighter of World War II, while his opponent flies a replica of a Bf-109, a German fighter. So maybe an equation between Zeon being Germanic and Nazi coded, or World War II Army coded, and the Federation being coded with the Allies, right? Larger. Maybe could be. It could be a stretch as well.
I don't know that there's any specific thing that you can pull out from Zeon constantly having Germanic themes that could matter anymore to the overall. We keep doing this. Like when I had Ray and company watch Origin, the first thing that they pointed out is those Zeon flags look like something, don't they?
Yeah. But my second part of the note, the fact that while they say they did everything themselves, like gets get the sponsorships. Air racing is a rich man's game, to be sure, showing how the three of them were living the privileged life at the higher rungs of the Side 6 economic ladder. Because either those planes were made in Side 6 or they had to be brought out.
Side 4.
They're Side...
This is Side 4.
Yeah.
Side 4 is more Brotherhood. We're in Side 4. As per my previous note, because remember, Side 4 and Side 1 follow orbit the same Lagrange point.
They're stuck in Side 6 for some reason.
I don't know why. Sorry, I don't remember where Side 6 is anymore. Oh, Side 6, the neutral one. Sorry. I just completely got lost because I'm thinking about... So, we watched a lot of Gundam.
Oh, G-Cooks and also War in the Pocket. Well,
yeah, no, I'm saying the Riha, the neutral one.
Yeah.
It's so much shit to keep in this head. Like I said, the fact that I don't have any of my notes anymore because I delete them every time, it's all up here now. All I got is what's up here. All right. So Claudia is taking some sort of drug in order to deal with the fact that she's constantly sending people to their deaths, and now kids. I think we initially saw it as a suicide attempt, but from how Io regards it, asking her how long she's been using, it seems like she's been retreating back to her quarters to escape the horrors of war into a drug-fueled haze. So not specifically a suicide attempt, just drug addiction. Which is likely on top of her perceived position of privilege from before the war, where Graham's anger stems from. Claudia pointed out earlier that she understood how Io's dad felt, letting hundreds of millions of more citizens die. If she's acknowledging that might be the case, and she's close to that family, then outsiders looking in may have also been thinking that and stewing over all the deaths those privileged survivors may have hanging over their heads.
I mean, they were working together in the air races as well. They were he was, Io was a flyer, and I think the prediction was...
No, you're looking the wrong way. I'm talking Graham to Claudia.
Yeah, no.
I'm using the conversation bits from Io and Claudia to reference the things that Graham has possibly been thinking about this whole time, and, anyone around them. Essentially, why did Io's dad kill himself, right? Was it because he felt guilt? Or was it because he couldn't, face the people anymore? Because he didn't, not that he felt guilt, but might actually be culpable for not taking the correct action and actually getting people killed. And then if people blamed Io's dad for that, anybody in a position of privilege or authority that then lets that happen has that same onus hanging over them. Which is to say, now Claudia, who's trying to escape, and maybe not like escape the ship but like escape off into a drug-fueled haze, not a privilege a person like Graham might have. She's rich. How'd she get the drugs? So she's running away from her problems and responsibilities.
Which is funny because Graham concentrates on her, but never, and I have a note about that, never mentions Io by himself.
He does, actually. I deleted the fucking notes, but he does. He refers to him in episode 1. Very specific about the
sin.
Yeah, the original sins of the whatever, But he refers to him when he's talking about the pilot of the Gundam, which is going to be Io. So he didn't say Io's name, but he is talking about him, and he is putting that stank on it. I don't like that. I don't like how I said that. I don't think I'm ever going to say that again.
Nobody else in the ship seems to regard him that way, right? Everybody's like, To
be fair, nobody else in the ship really gets talking lines. We get the people looking at Graham, and not for nothing, Graham is the XO, so they do listen to him and take orders from him. And no one's like, don't you say that, or he's going to save us. Like, nobody argues against Graham. And then because you didn't like Graham when Graham was going to take the seat. He's like, you always want to take control of the ship. No, he's the XO. He was taking his position on the bridge when fucking Claudia put herself into a drug coma. So technically, it befits Graham. I would argue the fact that Claudia tries to save him at the end, and then he shoots her anyway. But then again, he thinks he's dying. We had a whole conversation about that.
We will have, because I have a note about that.
I'm just saying, I blame Graham less than you do.
But my next note. The kids treating this like they are on vacation, just like their counterparts in Igloo, hammers the point of what is about to happen.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they're treating it like a vacation. It's literally, could be our last.
Yeah, but they don't. Even when they're giving the speech, you don't see any of them go like, oh, "No, this is." It's like,
I
"Oh, we're
mean,
gonna
think
take pictures,"
back.
and everybody.
It's not them.
Everybody's looking at them
it's
like,
not
"What
them
the
taking
fuck?"
all the pictures. It's
Yeah.
what's the C name guy? Cornelius. Cornelius is taking the pictures. Cornelius isn't pretending he's on vacation. So it's like, it's just, could be the last time. Kind of reminds me of, I guess, Ender's Game, the movie, not the book. This is going to be like a nothing comment for you. I'm just throwing it out there. Something that caught my attention was that they said that the operation would begin at 2400 hours. And I wondered why you would choose to say that instead of, say, 0 hour. The best guess I can come up with is that these are militaries. I said this wrong. The best guess I can come up with is that these militaries use regulations similar to the U.S. Army, where in the first line of Army Regulations 2550, Chapter 1, Section 26 states, military time will be expressed in a group of 4 digits from 0001 to 2400. So while 2400 and 0 hour may be synonymous, 2400 is the correct way to phrase it.
Okay. Explanation on that one.
Actually, I want to say this before you go into an explanation thing. I went to the Army Reddit and read people explaining why this is the way that's said. So,
yeah, no, because 0 hour means something different.
Correction here. I'm saying 0 hour. I'm implying 0000. Why they didn't say whatever version of that would be. I'm saying 0 hour as a shortening of that because I'm just saying 0. Yeah. I'm just saying, why would you say that instead of this? And that is the Army regulations way, is that 0000 does not exist.
No.
The clock starts at 0001 and goes to 2400 hours.
For clarity's sake, I thought this was part of the
Well, literally, again, I went to the Army Reddit, and somebody was asking literally that question there, and that's where I found Army Regulation 2550, because that was the first reply, and then everybody else celebrating how correct the answer was.
No, but okay. I know why you're saying 0 hour, and it makes sense to you to say it that way.
No, you don't have to explain that that's a different meaning. I understand that. I am shortening it here, that's all.
Funny how Mitchen's father is a historian and imprisoned as a dissident. The type of person who could look at history and warn them of what was coming.
Well, at the same time, you don't speak truth to power and not expect consequence. There's no... Well, maybe there is. Not likely, though. There's no such thing as standing up to the man and having your cake. That's why you gotta take him down from the inside, right? You gotta join the system to change the system. As I believe a wise man named Ric Flair once said, to beat the man, you gotta be the man. Sorry, forgot step. Woo! Any Ric Flair thing ends with a woo. Well, maybe not anymore. He's really old. Or dead. I don't know.
To my next note, then. That was actually my note. So, do you have any more?
Yeah, of course. The Zaku that launches and engages the GMs takes 15 of them out by my count of explosions, and his radar system, because he shoots 2, and then on his radar 2 go, and then like 2 other ones go, and so I'm counting the 2 on his radar as being the 2 he shot previous. Before then, he gets taken out himself. Still, that's about 42% taken out on his own. The Dom then shows up and takes out another 6, or 29% of what remained. 2 more get taken out by the Zeon ship's guns. I didn't keep track of how many of the ships got destroyed, as we never really knew how many ships either fleet really had. But that's still about, sorry, I should have done the overall math. 23 out of 36 GMs and balls taken out already.
Yeah, you count it, for sure. Now to Io and his other war crime. Io commits yet another war crime, but at least Sexton got what he was coming to him. Still a war crime, though.
Well, my next thought regards that. My next note regards that, and it's my final one, so I'm just going to add on to yours with this one. I know you reacted like Sexton got what was coming to him when he flipped a stretcher, got into an escape pod, and booked it. And then Io flies by and shoots a bunch of escape pods. But two things. One, obviously war crime. We know that the Zeon crew is actively trying to load the injured into those pods. They shout it out when Sexton pulls his bullshit. Not for nothing, this is the Living Dead division as well, so the injured of the already injured. Io could not look worse on paper right now.
Yeah.
And two, out of the 15 escape pods that launched, only 4 were destroyed. And we have no idea which one Sexton was in. I mean, I did my damnedest to estimate based on where he was inside the ship and the launch area outside. I think he was in pod 3 over and 1 down, which we see is among the number that launched on screen. Tracking them in the next shot is near impossible. Best guess is that he's either the one on the far right that gets destroyed, or he's in the one next to it that gets away. Either way, no real way to know unless we see his corpse floating in one of future episodes. That's why, again, I have a question mark on him on the board. It is... I would you could do a breakdown video. Did Sexton survive? Because I literally stared at it trying to track, okay, these pods launch in this order, then these pods launch, and then the thing transitions to a down shot, so you can't tell which pods are launching after that. So it's like, okay, it's one of these last ones, and they get over here, and one blows up and one doesn't. And again, he's got a 4 out of 15 chance of being dead.
A very high chance, but yeah.
It's pretty high chance, actually. So, Sexton, greater odds that he's alive. To be fair, though, this is one of the later shows, so we're never going to see him again, even if he does survive, unless it's in this show.
My next and final note. I think Graham's real motivation, besides avenging his family, was that he thought he could do a better job than the captain. It was as much as jealousy as anything else.
I mean, I disagree. Also, it wasn't about avenging his family, it's about looking his family in the face. That's what he says.
But
he didn't say this is to avenge my dead family.
Dead, so.
No, he said this isn't about. He didn't say this is to avenge my dead family. He said I can't look my family in the eyes in the next life, letting you go. Again, it's the same thing. I think he blames Claudia the same way that Io's dad blamed himself.
Yeah. Now that both of them are dead.
Yeah, no, I said this before, I think in our original argument, it's that element of you can't let people escape justice. That's not my point of view, mind you. That's your point of view. So if you had the same convictions that you have and you're Graham, I have no doubt in my mind that you would have tried to kill her too. I think the difference here is that you're giving different motivation for Graham than what I'm giving him. Because again, you think Graham wants to take the ship, and I'm like, he's the XO, and he's kind of running the ship when she goes off into a drug haze already. And this isn't the first time, as per, you're using again, Io. So, he already kind of runs the ship. He's got that. He doesn't need her dead.
But then he still chooses to kill her anyway.
Yeah, no, because she's going to escape and he's going to die. Again,
she tries to save him.
God, I can't think of any other examples because this is God, it came up a lot in Seed, but now I can't remember any of the Seed characters. You were like, they're going to get away. Again, I guess Garmazabi would be a stretch of an example, but it might be because you're blaming the Zabi family. Like, you're dying and Garmazabi is trying to escape. You blame the Zabi family, and Garmazabi is an active participant of the Zabi family who has done war-related material.
Be like, I was a member of Zeon, and I blame the Zabis for whatever I'm blaming them. he saves my life, and I choose like, oh, thank you for saving
Well,
me.
he doesn't really
Boom.
save his life because Graham was already dying. So
Yeah, but he tries to anyway. He tries to. I say, oh, well, let's get out of here. It's like, no.
okay,
I'm not
does
gonna
the
let you
act of him saving your life or trying to absolve him of the entire thing that you blamed him for already?
Well, it might
Again,
color
imagine
my need to
imagine
kill
a
him.
serial killer is out there, and your house is on fire, and the serial killer rushes into your house.
But also, that's another problem because we don't know exactly what happened.
No, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter to this. We're not. I've already positioned out there what I think Graham is going through, and his relationship to Claudia and what Claudia's position is and all this. And then you've given what you think is going on and what Graham is actually up to. And we've talked at length together about Claudia's position. So we've already put that out there. Take that, brush that to the side of the table, because now we're just talking about a different hypothetical. Your need for justice and to make sure that people don't escape that justice, and what you would possibly do in such a scenario where somebody is going to escape, and your ability to make sure that they find justice is going to go away immediately. Do you ensure that they find the justice that you know they're going to escape from?
I think the problem is that, the actor trying to...
I'm going to go to the furthest extreme I can think of, which you know what name I'm about to invoke. You're in the bunker, right? And Hitler's about to escape. He's set up the body double. They're all going to think he's dead. Hitler's going to get away. But you have had problems with the Nazi regime the entire time. And unfortunately, though, one of the bombs went off nearby, broke the ceiling. You're under the rubble. You're not going to survive this. But you still got your Luger in hand. Hitler's running down the hallway. Only chance.
I mean, I would pull a trigger on Hitler, but I don't think that's the problem.
As I said, most extreme example. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm not saying this is one for one with anything. I'm just saying that's what I feel like Graham's position is.
Yeah, but the thing is, we need more information about what really happened to Graham, and why he feels that way, and we need a little more information of whether that is true or not. Is he mistaken or not?
In an overall picture, I would agree with you, but I would argue that we don't, though, in that I feel like we both have our own opinions, and that's good enough. At the end of the day, nothing's really hurt by us having differing opinions on this. This is going to be a two-character interaction that's just going to get washed away in history. I mean, like, bigger things have happened elsewhere, probably on the same day, probably in the Thunderbolt sector itself. Like, this is just a nothing little bog that we just wandered into, and like, God, I wonder what the fuck happened here.
There's a meta race, and I think the reason also is sort of killing her ensures that there's nothing for Io to really return to, right? Like, oh yeah. It's like, oh, there's no future here. Everything you believe in, the ship that you were in.
His best friend. His best friend's still alive. Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name. I'm going to call him Clausewitz. I could not remember. The guy has a C name, and the fact that it's like
Claudio?
7 to 8 characters long, I just can't remember it. Cornelius, I want to say it was.
Yeah.
I literally have the board open, but I'm not tabbing over to it.
Yeah, his name is Cornelius.
Yeah.
His full name is Cornelius Kaka.
Oh, you're cheating.
With a K.
You could have gone to the board, which only has the parts that we know about.
Yeah. But I just found that funny. Cornelius.
Again, it's the problem, though. It's just a longer C name. So my brain just goes to every long C name I can think of. Well, at the moment, again, it's just Clausewitz, because I don't know why. I can't think of any of the C names.
But you were right when he said Cornelius, so yeah.
Well, no, that's because it actually came to me. I think I also want to keep going to the doctor from the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, that's what I thought too when I read that. Oh, there you have it. Those were my notes.
All right, well, I guess that is everything. So that said, nothing left to do but hop on, on. Well, that said, nothing left to do but hop on in and see what we get.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Oh, incoming Xeon reinforcements.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, survived.
みんな援軍がつくまで生きてくれ
Take a whiff of my ass cannon. My other point about the fact there's no corpses here, if all these people, any of these people got spaced, the corpses would be even more intact for longer.
Yeah.
すごい君の作ったモビルスーツ俺の失った手足よりも自由だ
Coping mechanism.
敵機関は味方モビルスーツ隊の攻撃により沈黙艦内には生き残りのジオン兵多数これより敵艦内制圧に向かう制圧ってこの救命艇じゃ酸素が足りないんだよ
Oh, I love shit like that. That's like the Star Trek novel Best Destiny. If anyone out there has ever read it.
コーネリアス人を撃ったことはないよ
Just Dio's dad.
戦場で音楽を聴きたい気持ちがやっと分かった
I would shoot him. I don't want to go out on a suicide, like, to take an enemy ship, listening to jazz music. It's also reminiscent of the Gould Samu fight from Across Bliss.
Any computer?
No. We've never had a good learning computer in this show. I wish he could, man. He is an asshole.
Oh, they're your bodies.
No, this is on the ship. This isn't on
I
the
know.
Banchai.
機関部を制御するんだメカニックだけで訓練はしただろ
So that's why I'm sending you to
う
engineering.
了解です
I mean, with the reinforcements coming in, they're not going to hold on to that ship for long.
Yeah, kind of running out of time.
音楽が聞こえる先
I don't even know this constitutes a war crime.
爆発は艦内全てに
If they barge
I mean,
into the
that
room
won't-
and kill everybody, because they're not also technically enemy combatants, they're just... Okay, they didn't just open fire. The element is that they're running out of oxygen, so they're kind of like just trying to survive. They're not actually combatant.
おとなしく捕虜になれこの中に責任者はいるか階級の高い者は
I don't think they give a shit.
That's a lot of missiles.
軍人は捕虜になって生き恥をさらすことはない。
そうよ軍人の名誉と誇りにかけて絶対に
Oh, they're gonna blow up the ship so they don't get captured.
ダリルあなた一人で行かせたりしない私も
I mean, that's probably why the guys in the hold have just like resigned themselves. You can't take us alive. You're about to get killed in the explosion.
行くぞもうやめよう憎しみ合いや殺し合いをいつまで続けるんだもうやめようもうやめようここに固まるんだよ
Carla's probably the only person you could have said that to, and it'd probably work.
しくじったかなプラン B プラン B だ自爆なんて無意味だやめよう捕虜にはならないお前たちを道連れにしてやる
家族や恋人を奪った報いを受けろ
この憎しみを思い知れ苦しみは僕らだって十分味わったこの中域は僕たちのコロニーがあった場所なんだよ故郷があった場所なんだ
故郷
サイド4の
I guess it's legitimately like the first time we've ever seen this play, and we'll see if it actually works.
これ以上仲間の死を見たくない一緒に生き延びる道を探そうお互いが全滅するまで殺し合うなんて馬鹿げてる
あなた何を
Targeting laser. I didn't figure that out. I thought it was a camera at first. Well, can't fucking trust anybody. But you can see a witch from Mercury here. Okay, I guess they're not going that far.
Yeah.
Famously, Witch from Mercury had the Gundam slap. A guy running across with a gun, slap, blood splatter. I thought they were gonna crush her.
Well, decided to fight, I guess.
Plan B. I mean, they just wanted to die in an explosion. I hate when that happens.
Yeah, he's gonna get shot. Oh.
No. You had to prime it the old-fashioned way. I mean, it's really hard to fight someone who's actively trying to blow themselves up.
Oh.
I mean, obviously.
You know, she was in love with someone else, I guess.
Yeah, but they formed a connection after that. You know, not for nothing. She's like on the edge of sanity. Thank God. I don't want to listen to your jazz anymore.
Oh, okay. That's the part we didn't see last time.
Can't dodge me when you're running right at me.
君に出会えたことが僕の奇跡だ。
Did you fire it too close? Why didn't it blow
Yeah,
up
it
on
didn't
impact?
No, it didn't.
A real
harm.
Red
That's the thing.
October moment.
Yeah. You could get out on the core fighter.
Got a cockpit shield inside of the cockpit shield.
Yeah, but it's a core fighter.
Well, one of you has a real advantage in the hand-to-hand fight department. You've been making fun of them for it the entire fucking time. Well, finally found out what happens when you let an asshole pilot a Gundam. Yeah, for the Xeon guys, their defeat was technically a win-win. By which I mean they didn't want to be captured alive, so either they got shot to death or exploded. Self-created win conditions.
クローディアはいないのか。多分艦長として。ありがとう。フィッシャーが援軍を呼んでくれたから。いや、俺もどさくさで。でも、サイコザクは失ってしま
I
っ
mean,
た。
yeah, you saw it.
報告はどうする？カーラ先生の回復次第、リユースサイコデバイスは量産化されるぞ。
You don't have that much time.
パイロットが増えるな。リユースサイコデバイスを使えば、平凡なパイロットを超人に変えられるからね。僕と同じように手足を切れば。
Yeah, I think you're a new type though, so I don't think that even really works.
もうやめろ。リビングデッド師団の諸君、拷問は条約違反だ。これ以上は親衛隊として見過ごすわけにはいかない。分かっています。失礼いたしました。どうぞ。5分だけです。映像音声ともに記録させていただきます。ありがとうございます。イオ・フレミング、サイド4元市長の息子、地球連邦軍ムーア同胞団所属。
So they are Earth Federation.
悪名高きガンダムのパイロット。
You were arguing that they were a third party buying supplies.
ダリル・ローレンツ、教えてくれよ。その哀れで不自由な体でどうやってモビルスーツを操るんだ。
You legit see he has hand prosthetics right now.
殺して決着をつけたかった。ガンダムを倒せば戦争っていう悪夢から解放される気がしたんだ。悪夢？
Remember the conversation Claudia had that EO only can... Oh, sorry. What's it called? Clausewitz again. The other guy. Glasses guy. EO can only survive in this war because he can't live anywhere else.
戦争を呪いながら戦争に見入られていく。俺たちは戦い続ける宿命なのさ。戦争はまだ終わらない。
No, but pretty soon.
Yeah.
Huh. Technically, this is halfway. And we just, like,
Yeah.
looked at, that was Solomon. We just looked at Solomon.
Mhm.
Was that Solomon?
No, I think it was about cool.
Solomon hasn't happened. I guess maybe they're implying Solomon's already happened?
Yeah.
Solomon's the one that's nearby. Or I guess they'd both technically kind of be nearby.
Yeah, no, but the thing is that the reason why the Thunderbolt sector was it was the supply lines to Abakuo. If they intercepted that, then Abakuo would be isolated.
No, but it's close. I believe it's closer to Solomon than it is Abakuo, but I guess technically Abakuo and Solomon are both nearby because they're both nearby.
I expected them both to die in this fight. I guess not. I guess we have more episodes to go.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is the element seems to be that we're continuing this on past the Thunderbolt sector.
Guess so.
Because technically both of those bases are just outside of it, but they're in the same Lagrange point. You know, as per that one thing I kept bringing up was the fact that one of Side 1's Banshai was floating past the assault force on its way to Solomon in the OG Gundam. Thoughts, man? You gotta say your thoughts.
I mean, I don't know how to feel about this because I thought, oh, it's going to end and we're going to get some other story like Igloo, right? We're going to get another story with other characters, right? But now that these guys are alive, I guess they can still fight in the Battle of Solomon at Abakuo, right? Or somewhere else.
I mean, assuming that's where we go.
Yeah.
I mean, we were guessing that that's what was going to happen before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no, I just double-checked.
And basically,
I just
having the
double-checked.
Federation...
Side 4 and Side 1 are close to Solomon. Abakuo is a ways away. It's on the other side of Side 3. So, technically, Solomon guards, say, this side of the moon, and Abakuo guards the other side of the moon. So that has to have been Solomon. No, it's Abakuo. It was clearly Abakuo. I don't know why I keep guessing at this.
Yeah. Also having the brother...
Hold on. We always let the Gunpla stuff play. Sorry, I thought it was over.
We haven't seen that one.
Yeah,
yet.
it was a spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
The Atlas Gundam.
Yeah. So the idea that the Brotherhood loses, they get captured, and essentially, well, they were just fighting for revenge. They could never retake their homeworld, their homeland, because
we'd have no idea the Brotherhood loses.
I mean, these were their forces, unless they have more.
No.
forces.
Remember, they got. I brought this up in my notes. Brotherhood gave the command for the full-out assault to retake the Thunderbolt sector, and that gets sent to the ship that we're on. And these are just the guys from that ship. They're the ones that got into the pod to then try and take the Zeon ship because they didn't have enough oxygen to go anywhere, and they thought that the Zeon ship was their only way out. So they tried to take that ship, and then the Zeon reinforcements came and captured them. So that's just the remains of the ship that we've been on. That's not everybody else.
And then this guy gets tortured, but
well, technically he got taken prisoner, and then we see the Zeon guys. They're not like they're committing a crime. Obviously, I don't know if it's a crime against humanity or a war crime specifically.
War crime that they're torturing him.
I
mean, torture doesn't have to involve extraction of information. They're just beating up on a prisoner.
I'm not arguing they are beating on him because you see them, they're crying when they come out because obviously they're crying for their own losses and they're taking it out on just whatever random Federation soldier is around.
Well, the senior officer, really. He's the senior surviving officer.
I guess.
Of that group. Yeah.
I mean, we don't know what the other guys' ranks are. He did get promoted to ensign, didn't he? No, that was Daryl. Daryl got promoted to ensign. EO. Wait, wasn't EO already an ensign? I don't remember EO's rank.
He was already an ensign. Remember, he was a senior pilot. That's why he got in command of
Yes, I know he was
suits.
a senior pilot because he was the one. I'm just saying we don't know the ranks of anybody else. And technically, Cornelius is the only other one on the board. So, and whoever Cornelius was taking orders from outranked him. And I don't mean like in the totality of the show. I mean of the survivors. But we have no idea if any of those people survived. EO is the only person we know of rank that is a higher rank, because obviously he's higher ranked than Cornelius.
And he was a pilot of the Gundam too, so I guess they take it out of him for all the
Probably
people he killed.
they're beating
Yeah.
him for all Gundam pilots. Because it's not like a stupid macho thing. It's not like, ha ha ha, I beat the Gundam, that sort of thing. They're fucking crying when they're leaving. It's, they're burning out their emotions on this. And once again, because there's some assholes on the internet who can't figure out when I'm saying stuff, I'm not saying I condone it, I'm just saying I understand it. You can understand a thing and still not agree with it. This is literally, they should have been in the gym punching a punching bag moment.
Yeah. Not on him, though. And he seems to have gone over the edge. Like, yeah, I'm just going to kill. If I get out of here, I'm going to kill everybody, basically.
Well, no, it's still literally, again, I can't remember. I think it was Claudia, probably it was Cornelius, who literally said he can't exist outside of this environment anymore. This is where he thrives, and he's not good anywhere else. So he's already was this way. But again, he's our asshole hero. Because I don't
think he's even a hero.
Well,
He's
he is,
just
because the Federation is the good guys, right? It's like watching a World War II movie, and your allied soldier is a fucking asshole, but the Nazi is the more human character, but you wouldn't cheer for the Nazi. So it doesn't matter how assholey the allied soldier becomes, so long as he doesn't turn into like, oh, I'm weaving their ears into a necklace, Vietnam soldier level, that he's still your guy. So it doesn't matter how nice or good or humanized Daryl becomes, because it is ultimately fighting for, and I don't just mean Zeon, I mean he's ultimately defending the people that did Operation British.
So there you have it. Episode 4. Interesting ending. I didn't expect that.
Yeah. I mean,
Especially
I was there last
after they
episode
killed
guessing
the
with you
captain,
that we were going to get 2 different parts as per like the movie. But again, technically this is 2 different parts. It is. I don't think we suspected that the characters were going to survive. And I don't know if this is technically survival. But we are definitely moving on to a new arc of the story to get that new Gundam that the Gunpla thing just showed us. All right.
So those are my thoughts so far.
Yeah, well, that being
I'm still
that,
processing.
That being that, then I guess nothing left to do but to say I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?